dance moves from Roland Wolf. Welcome back to Small Cap Recap, everybody. Another special guest today, Roland Wolf. He's in the office with us, but normally we started doing this about a little over a month ago. And I know you've been on vacation for like 3 weeks or, spending time with the family. So tell the audience, how is it spending time with the family as a trader, as a profitable trader? You know what I mean? Getting away from the market a little bit.
I mean, that's why I started trading in the first place. The reason I started trading was to spend time with family and be able to support them, provide everything that I want to provide for them. And it's worked out pretty well. But so we spent the last month just in California, Arizona. We went to Disneyland, hit the beaches, and had to deal with a ton of FOMO. Month of July was kind of mixed bag. I think you can agree in terms of runners and stuff like that. But for me, I tried to disengage completely, which is really tough for people like us, and I'm sure people like yourselves who trade a lot. But I did it successfully for the most part. I did get a few little trades in there, but for the most part, all I was doing was dealing with FOMO, trying to be present for my family and not trade, which, like I said, can be very difficult at times, but it was successful. The kids were super happy. The trip was great. And now I'm back trying to get back into it, which is its own process.
Absolutely. And, I know that's something that Matt and I have been talking about like the past month on Small Cap Recap, right? Where Matt's gone right now. He's back home with his family. I'm actually, as you'll see on the charts in a few minutes, we're doing this really early today. What's it? An hour, like a little over an hour after market open. I'm hopping on a flight back to New York. And that's one thing that I've always heard, profitable traders talk about is they normally take their vacations in the summer when that market is slower, because it's probably going to heat up, especially with all the stimulus, the COVID talk, it's probably going to heat up in the fall and the winter. And I want to get my traveling done out of the way. I've never really gotten to experience this. So I'm gone for like 3 weeks myself. I'm kind of excited to do it. We both picked good months, July and August for August so far. I mean, I'm doing well, but it's not hot by any means. No. And it was very much so not hot in July either. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's like definitely one of those reasons. Like that's what inspired me. I'm sure that's what inspires a lot of you guys. It inspired Roland, like being able to spend time with your family, being able to get away from the screens every now and then and really hit it when that market gets hot. But as of right now, market's still not that hot. We're going to go over a couple charts. Let's bring it on over to the screen. We're actually going to start with Roland's trade from yesterday. And honestly, today it'll kind of give a good example of what this market is like with the lack of continuation. Talk us through this trade, Roland. You said this was one of your first trades after coming back from vacation. So talk us through it a little bit. Yeah, INFI.
So this was yesterday. We had a gapper yesterday morning. The idea for me when I'm coming back from vacation in particular, or just not being able to watch the markets, whether it's like sickness or something like that, the idea is generally to get my feels back. So I don't come in just swinging for the gates. I moderate my size. I do stuff like that. So on something like INFI, I only had 4,000 shares. I actually got it on the dip there. We had this morning spike to 260.
Which dip? This one or this one?
Right. The one.
Oh, even lower, right here. Wow.
Lower, yeah. So
nice.
What I've been doing and what I've been trying to do is play off lows to the best of my ability. We've been seeing lows hold a lot, and worst case scenario, I cut for like 5 or 6, 10-cent loss max. In this case, I ended up with 4,000 shares in the 245 range, which is just a feeler, obviously size-wise for me. 260 was a key level on the daily. If you look back a few days ago, it spiked. Last week, it spiked. Not a great spike, but big volume. Couldn't really run, so that 260 level was a key level. Gapping up yesterday morning, that's what I was kind of looking at, and I'm thinking if I get a pull, I might get a little bit of a breakout. So that was kind of the idea there, get a break of that big volume day, and that's exactly what happened. It's a bigger float. I think the float's like either 30-something mil or 60-something
mil. Let's see. We can check that right on down here. What is that? 80, 86.
86. Okay, yeah. So even bigger. Big old float, so I know it's going to move slowly. And I know I have to kind of adjust expectations for the float size in terms of how much range there's going to be, especially in this market.
Yeah.
So I got 40 cents out of it and just took it off. Only 4,000 shares, but it was still about $2,000 or so, which is a decent little trade in a slow market on a big float, and a decent first trade back. That being said, I missed EVK yesterday, which was the bigger runner, lower float, and that was the better play. That is you to a T. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, this is Roland. This has Roland's name written all over it. That's more bread and butter there.
Yep.
You get gap and crap, reversal type scenario, double bottom. A little fake out low right there.
That's even better. I love that.
Even better.
Yep.
It was perfect, but I didn't have eyes on it. I was toying around with INFI at the moment, which is honestly for me that's a mistake. Going to an 80 million share float, and it worked. It worked. Don't get me wrong, but this is where the volatility really was yesterday.
Now, I'm sure we'll have people asking, and we have people ask all the time, on something like this, we have people asking about halt plays all the time. You're stuck long in a halt, which is normally a good thing, but in this market, they're not halting up again, right? They're just chopping around. This did end up working, got really choppy into the midday here. How do you do that? When you're in a halt up, do you just kind of get right on out, or what do you do?
I do. It depends. So like if I was in EVK yesterday, obviously this is in retrospect.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. But the way I like to do it is if I get that push and it looks like it's about to halt, generally speaking, I'm taking shares off into the halt.
Yep.
Maybe not all of them, but a good portion, maybe half of them, depending on size. I like taking shares off into the halt just in case. You can generally get filled into the halt.
Yep.
So that's what I do. And then maybe try to let a few extra shares ride.
See where it goes. Absolutely. Yeah, no, this was definitely I saw this and I was like, this is rolling.
Yep.
I don't do well with these. I never do well. But that
was perfect.
Yeah, this was you to a T.
Yep.
That's an A+ for you.
And again, that's my mistake not watching this. I had eyes on INFI. I already had a trade going in it. And that happens at times. And I need to adjust accordingly.
Man, look at that. It's down 26% today. There's just not a whole lot of follow through in the market. Every day we say this. Not a lot of follow through.
No, and we've got to keep that in mind.
Yep,
and,
absolutely.
And adapt, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's trading is adapting is not, I wouldn't say it's part of trading. It is all of trading.
It is huge.
It's learning to size down in the summer, size down when you come back from vacation. You've been away from the market.
Yep.
That's Roland's a trading veteran here, guys. He knows what's up. Listen to everything this man says.
Day-to-day adaptation, week-to-week. Keeping up with the patterns, all that good stuff, keeping up with the markets. And right now, there's not too much follow through. There's some volatility, but I'm looking to just take those singles repeatedly.
Well, and it's funny because, now that you mentioned that, a lot of people are asking small cap rockets, what's the best pattern for a beginning trader? It changes all the time based on the market condition, always changing. That's why it's definitely good. There's always ones that are going to work. You know what I mean? Breakouts, in a sense, will almost always work. It's to the extent to which they work. Breakouts, we're about to go over AHPI. I'll actually pull that up right now. Sick breakout, right? Look at that. Kind of a joke. I mean, it is nice. It was a nice breakout.
Totally sick.
But that's just ugly.
Go to the daily.
Yep. The daily's not awful. It's not great. It's just, look at that wicks.
It's the big, it's that 1150 that has bothered me this whole time.
Yep.
And then the second push to the 10s, and it's holding up.
And so the way I look at it, it is holding up. It's holding up really well, and debatably, I like this ticker just because of the COVID news that we're getting right now, all across the media. I still think I'm going to be keeping on watch for the next few days. But, if you had bought this breakout here, you're kind of screwed. Yeah. You're kind of screwed. Waiting for this one is probably going to be the more key area, and seeing how it reacts after that. But for me, I'm always looking at these little multi-day breakouts. A lot of resistance down here in the 6s and then again in the 750s. That's kind of the way I like to play breakouts. I know I've told you guys about that. And then I generally sell into these types of breakouts because the follow through just sucks right now. When the market heats up, if you haven't seen a hot market yet, these breakouts will go crazy.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when and adapting until that comes. So I'm going to dig into HPI. We're going to go back to today now. So my two biggest trades, we can actually go over, or I can pull up my trade review. I'm up about 11,000 today. NURO, AHPI. Unfortunately, I had a lot of shares of AHPI, so it really wasn't that crazy of a trade. I was expecting a lot more than this. Normally, the past 2 days, right? AHPI would spike. Oh, I'm on a 1 day. Spike out of the gates. Really nice morning spike. Consolidate, fail at the end of the day. Morning spike wasn't all that impressive today, probably just because we're coming up into so much resistance. I had about 12,000 shares from a 943 average right here. This is a tough one. I wanted a lot more. If you were in small cap rockets, you saw my watch list. My max size on this, if we had gotten consolidation, was going to be 25 to 30,000 shares going for the breakout. But since there was no consolidation, just bidders showed up. I did use smaller size, risking low a day. Sold off into this pop here and sold the rest on this VWAP fail. Instantly recovered. Got back in a couple more times right here and sold most into this pop when it was failing to hold that breakout. Nice trade, but it was a single. You know what I mean? It's still failing right now. I'll be watching at the end of the day, but I am traveling. So, what's your experience from trading from a plane? Have you ever done it?
Yeah, I've done it successfully and unsuccessfully. It depends on Wi-Fi.
Yep.
It's not an ideal place to trade, so I generally don't do it. If I have charts open, it's because I'm being a degenerate and I want to watch.
Yep, and
it's cool. It's cool. You can have Wi-Fi on the planes now. You can trade if you want, but most of the time I just watch. Do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
AHPI, you've done really well on it, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I've now the past 3 days made like 50,000 on it.
So it's a good example of like having the pulse on a stock.
Yep.
Not necessarily markets wise, although he's thinking about the markets, but he's been trading this same stock successfully. And like he said, he kind of understands what it's been doing. He gets a morning spike, and generally he's been taking profits really well into that because he understands how that's working.
Yeah, it's wild. My biggest loss ever on AHPI is just about $900.
Yep.
I mean, and there's 5-6 trades that are over $1,000. My biggest one. This is my biggest trade ever, of course. But yeah, no, getting a feel for a stock is huge. And it's kind of rare for it to come around as often as it does. They don't come around often. That one stock that you just love. But when it's there, when you get a feel for the flow, how it trades, like I told you, every morning so far, it's morning spike, consolidate, fail. I knew not to play it in the afternoon yesterday for that exact reason. And what did it do? It failed in the afternoon. So that's we talk about all the time, like learning how a stock works or like getting a feel for how it moves. Find that one for me. This has been it so far. Let me go over NURO real quick. A first Green Day attempt that just bounce plays have sucked lately. They have really not been good. Like and it's because of the lack of follow through. Absolutely. That's crazy.
So NURO, I was in California, San Diego, like I said, trying to not trade.
Yep.
But I'm still, every single morning, I do my watch list. I still was watching maybe the first 20 to 30 minutes if possible, like a degen. And NURO was one of those ones where I really liked it. I really liked it in the morning. And then I had to battle FOMO for 2 days because I'm like watching it go to $40.
It was this day was tough. This day was a bit, I'm not going to say easier, but you knew the strength was there.
Yep.
But this was a pretty rare example.
I'm just talking about the first day because that's my bread and butter. Was that first morning.
Yep.
It had a nice reversal in the morning. Yep.
And it goes to 40.
It goes to $40. But that's okay. I was at Disneyland. It's going to 40, and I'm thinking, kids are happy.
Yeah, the kids are happy. It's all right. This is a great example. It's got that it's just a clear as day daily consolidation. Previous runner holding above this support on the gap. Really, really nice daily chart. And I've done all right trying to bounce it, but like every time it tries to bounce, it just goes back to red. Yeah, so I played accordingly. That's why I played at Scalpy this morning. Yeah. Right now, we're not in the market to overstay your welcome. No. Take those, nail and bail. Scalp it. I scalp a lot, nail and bail. Because look at this. Literally, I mean, it's back down to lows today. Yeah. It's, take your strength and don't worry about it. You're going to get FOMO from missing out on more of a move, but I'd rather sell too early than get caught in what is this? Like literally $1.50 a share dump in 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. Don't want to be a part of that. Exactly. So yeah, nail and bail mentality, staying strong, especially now. I'm on my way to go home and travel, and I can tell you, I don't want to be overly focused on trading. So nail and bail is going to be even more important than ever before now.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Any other last minute thoughts on the market here? You've been a better replacement than Matt. I think we're going to have Roland on more than Matt quite often. I like Roland more. I know we do.
Matt rocks. But not really. Just I'm just adapting still. Like I said, it's only my second day back today from my vacation in a slower market during the summer trading hours. So perspective is super important. That's what I'm keeping in mind. I want to have perspective. I want to kind of trade a little bit more hands off at the moment, maybe a little less size, depending. I mean, if my setup comes, I'm going to hit it. But outside of that, wait. I'm just waiting for a really hot market. Maybe end of the year, things pick up again. OTC land maybe picks up big again. So we'll see what happens. I'm just staying here. I'm
taking it day by day.
Taking it day by day and just be ready for that next play, whatever that may be. But as long as my perspective's good, that's really what counts.
Words of wisdom by Wolf. Wolf's words of wisdom. There we go. I like it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into Small Cap Recap. We're out of here. I'm heading back home, so I'll get a small cap recap. Don't worry. We're not leaving you hanging. I'm going to figure out how to do it from home. Don't worry. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.